Ever felt like running away from your problems? Well, let me tell you a story about a guy who tried to do just that, and it led to the adventure of a lifetime. This is the story of Jonah, a man with a very important job, a very big fish, and a lesson he'd never forget. Our story begins in ancient Israel, where a man named Jonah lived. Jonah wasn't just any guy, he was a prophet, which means God sometimes spoke to him, giving him special messages for the people. One day, God's voice came to Jonah with a huge mission. "Go to the great city of Nineveh," God said, "and tell the people there that I have seen their wickedness. They need to change their ways, or their city will be destroyed." Now you might think Jonah would jump at the chance to deliver such an important message. But here's the thing. Nineveh was the capital of Assyria, Israel's biggest enemy. The Ninevites were known for being cruel and ruthless. Jonah thought, why should I help them? They're our enemies. They deserve whatever's coming to them. So, instead of heading east to Nineveh, Jonah did the exact opposite. He ran. He raced down to the port of Joppa, a bustling seaside town filled with ships setting sail to faraway lands. He found a vessel heading to Tarshish, which was about as far away in the opposite direction as you could get back then. It was like being told to go to New York and buying a ticket to Alaska instead. Jonah paid the fare, hopped on board, and went down into the belly of the ship, hoping to hide from God. He probably thought, out of sight, out of mind. But you can't really hide from God, can you? As the ship sailed across the Mediterranean Sea, a massive storm suddenly blew in. This wasn't just any storm. The sky turned black. The wind howled like a monster, and waves crashed over the deck, threatening to tear the ship to pieces. The experienced sailors were terrified. They had never seen a storm like this. They threw cargo overboard to lighten the ship, prayed to their own gods, but nothing worked. The storm only got worse. Meanwhile, where was Jonah? Fast asleep down below. The ship's captain found him and shook him awake. "What are you doing sleeping at a time like this?" he shouted over the wind. "Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he will save us." The sailors, desperate for an answer, decided to cast lots, a bit like drawing straws, to figure out who was to blame for this disaster. And guess whose name came up? Jonah. They all turned to him. "Who are you? What have you done to bring this upon us?" Jonah finally confessed. "I am a Hebrew," he said, "and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. I'm running away from him." The sailors were even more terrified. "You're running from the God who made the sea while we're on the sea? Talk about a bad idea." "What should we do to you to make the sea calm down?" they asked. Jonah knew what had to be done. It was his fault, and he had to face the consequences. "Pick me up and throw me into the sea," he said. "Then it will become calm. I know it is my fault that this great storm has come upon you." The sailors felt terrible. They didn't want to do it. They were good men and tried with all their might to row back to land, but the storm was too powerful. Finally, seeing no other choice, they prayed to God for forgiveness, picked Jonah up, and tossed him into the raging waves. Instantly, the wind stopped. The waves calmed down. The sea became as peaceful as a sleeping baby. The sailors were in awe. They understood the incredible power of Jonah's God and offered a sacrifice right there on the deck. But what about Jonah? As he sank beneath the waves, he must have thought it was all over. But God had other plans. Instead of letting him drown, God sent a giant fish to swallow Jonah whole. Can you imagine? One moment you're sinking in a stormy sea, and the next you're in the dark, slimy, smelly belly of a huge fish. Jonah was trapped. He spent 3 days and 3 nights inside that fish. It must have been the longest 3 days of his life. In the darkness, with nothing but the gurgling of the fish's stomach. Jonah had a lot of time to think. He realized he couldn't run from God, and he couldn't run from his responsibilities. So, Jonah prayed. It wasn't a prayer of anger or complaint. It was a prayer of thanks. He thanked God for saving him from drowning. He admitted his mistake and promised to fulfill his vow. He finally understood that salvation comes from the Lord. After 3 days, God commanded the fish, and it swam toward the shore and spat Jonah out onto dry land. He was covered in seaweed and fish guts, but he was alive and had a second chance. Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I give you. This time Jonah didn't hesitate. He got up and went straight to Nineveh. Nineveh was a massive city, so big it took 3 days just to walk across it. Jonah walked for a day, proclaiming his simple, stark message. 40 more days, and Nineveh will be overthrown. He probably expected people to laugh at him or get angry, but something amazing happened. The people of Nineveh listened. They believed him. From the common people to the nobles, everyone started to reflect on their actions. Word reached the king of Nineveh, and he was deeply moved. He got off his throne, took off his royal robes, and sat in dust and ashes as a sign of deep sorrow. He then issued a decree for the entire city. Everyone, even the animals, had to fast and pray to God. Who knows? The king declared. God may yet relent and with compassion turn from his fierce anger so that we will not perish. And that's exactly what happened. When God saw that the people of Nineveh had truly changed their ways, from the king down to the humblest citizen, he had compassion. He didn't bring about the destruction he had threatened. The city was saved. Now you'd think Jonah would be thrilled, right? Mission accomplished. But he wasn't. He was angry. He went out of the city, sat down, and sulked. He even said to God, "Isn't this what I said would happen? This is why I ran away. I knew you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity. Now just take my life." Jonah was upset because his enemies were spared. He cared more about his own reputation as a prophet than about the lives of 120,000 people. God wanted to teach Jonah one final lesson. While Jonah was sitting there, God made a leafy plant grow up quickly to provide him with shade from the hot sun. Jonah was very happy about the plant. It made his little spot much more comfortable. But the next day, God sent a worm to chew through the plant, and it withered and died. Then, a scorching east wind blew, and the sun beat down on Jonah's head until he grew faint. He again wished he were dead. Then God spoke to him. "Is it right for you to be angry about the plant?" "It is," Jonah snapped back. "I'm so angry I wish I were dead." Then God said something that put everything into perspective. "You have been concerned about this plant, though you did not tend it or make it grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight. But Nineveh has more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left, and also many animals. Should I not have concern for that great city?" And that's where the story ends. We don't know what Jonah said next. We're left to think about that final question. The story of Jonah isn't just about a man and a big fish. It's a story about second chances, about compassion, and about understanding that God's love and mercy are for everyone, not just the people we think deserve it. It teaches us that we can't run from our purpose, and that sometimes the biggest adventures happen when we finally face what we've been running from. Thanks for watching our story today. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing tales. See you next time.